assignments. I'm also going to record that if that's okay, Ms. Clarke, in case anybody misses this meeting. So it is Friday, March 10th. This morning, we're going to have a presentation from Ms. Clarke about a middle school program called AVID, which maybe you've heard about. And then you guys on your own are going to need to go back to that lesson 1102 in language arts that we did yesterday and make sure you submit your end of chapter quiz and also your graphic organizer. Now, if you've shared a Google Doc with me and that's where you're organizing your story and planning it, all you need to do is submit one sentence that says, Ms. Laws, I shared my Google Doc. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. All right, let's have screens on, people at the bottom there. Mila, Sasha, Lauren, Evie, Javier, please turn on your screens and we'll get started. Ms. Clarke, hit it.
Good morning. Good morning, fifth graders. I'm so excited to get to come hang out with you all for an extra time this month. So it may seem a little bit early, but we are starting to think about forecasting for middle school. And I know that some of you may not know if you're coming to Flex or if you're going to your neighborhood school. I would encourage you at this point in the year, if you're not sure, to start having those conversations with your parents. The building schools have already started forecasting, and Flex, we're sending out our forecasting forms today through Parent Square, so you can give your parents a heads up. Forecasting is where you select which classes you're going to take next year. And it's important to get on that because they staff us based on how many kids forecast for a class. So I'm just throwing random numbers out there, right? But if 50 kids forecast for Spanish, we might get 2 teachers. If 75 forecast, there'll be 3 classes. So what I'm saying is these classes fill up. So if you are going back to a building, it will be helpful. You'll have more options for electives if you forecast sooner and let them know you're coming back in the fall.
Can I interrupt just for a second? Because this is a big change from elementary school to middle school. Mm-hmm. So you're not just deciding which school you're going to go to, guys, but you actually get to pick a couple of classes that you want to take. You have a little bit of choice. So unlike elementary school where everything's all set up for you and you just sign up for school, this one you get to have some choices. So that's what you're forecasting, not only for the school, but also for the classes you want. Yeah. Evie, go ahead.
Wait, so I'm probably still going to go to Flex next year, but am I still going to pick classes?
Yeah, so I will actually in just a moment, I like to do some of the talking stuff without screen share so I can see you all better, but in just a sec, I'm going to show you the Flex forecasting sheet. You really are just choosing electives. So you'll just forecast as if you're going to come here. I would say if you're really, really not sure, if you talk to your family and you're going to go back to a building, you'll forecast with them.
Okay.
So I will screen share really quick, and we are going to get to AVID like Ms. Laws mentioned, but I wanted AVID to make sense in relation to everything else. So this is the forecasting sheet for 6th graders. And like you can see at the top here, there's certain classes that you're all going to take, and you'll take these whether you're at Flex or Cedar Park or Five Oaks or any other middle school in Beaverton. So most of you will be in Math 6, 7, Social Studies, English, Science, PE and Health. And then we also have advisory, which is like everybody has an advisory class, and this is where we share information that's going on school-wide. This is where you can get help from teachers because like you might be noticing here, you're going to have quite a few teachers instead of just one. So advisory is it's like community building. You can get help, you can get school information. And then your parents will fill out this Google form with some of their information, your information, and right down here. And we're going to actually change this in a meeting in about an hour. So it'll look a little bit different, this last question. If you are at Flex, you can take AVID, which is a special elective I'm going to talk about in just a second, and a combination of these other listed. So you'll have two other electives and AVID. If you are in a building, AVID will be your elective, and I think you'll have one other. So it's set up a little bit differently, but I'm going to work as if we are forecasting for flex because that's the information I'm confident about. I don't know all the ins and outs of the other middle schools. So what this form will look like when it goes out, it should have, you'll select which of these kind of combos of electives you're most interested in, because each one is a semester. So you would have like art for half the year and intro to Spanish for half the year, or art and then technology. And then you'll have another box saying, I'm interested in applying to AVID, and you can check that to let us know that you're planning to apply. Okay. And I'm sure you've got questions. I'm gonna, if you want, you can type them in the chat so you remember or they're saved. But I want to answer questions at the end. All right, so I'm going to go really quickly through kind of what AVID is. AVID is a year-long elective. It is not intended for everyone, but it can be really helpful for the right group of kids. So I just want you to kind of listen along and see if this is something that might fit for you or something that you're interested in. Okay. So the mission of AVID is to close the opportunity gap by preparing all students for college readiness and success in a global society. Okay. And instead of me just talking at you, I wanted to share this short video with some students and teachers from Beaverton School District talking about AVID.
Teamwork, focus, motivated,
determination. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. AVID has been around for about 35 years. It started in one school in California with one English teacher and has grown into a system that really trains teachers, supports students, and really looks at how our entire school can support all kids to get ready for college.
Well, let's look at them. Are they both acute?
In the AVID elective class, we really help each other succeed in any of our classes that are difficult. We work on tips and tricks that will help kids be successful and improve in their reading, writing, speaking, and thinking skills.
I was a slacker.
I would always hide.
I left everything the last minute.
In fifth grade, I was more of an unfocused kid who didn't really think of school as really important to me. But now, going into AVID, school is the most important thing to me right now.
We're looking for students who are hardworking, who are willing to put in a little bit of extra work so that they can become more successful.
I realized that to be successful, you need to listen to your teachers and just do your work and, go above and beyond of what you're doing and put in that extra work you need to do.
Every day I would wear my jacket and I would always have my hair down. And it acted kind of like a barrier because I didn't really feel comfortable around people.
Some students start AVID at the beginning of the year very quiet and kind of shy.
I would always be the kid that you would have to talk to me first. I think AVID has helped me with that.
By working together in AVID and helping each other and using the strategies that we use in that class.
Now, I have a lot of stuff to say.
They've become a little bit more outgoing. They're volunteering to speak in classes. They advocate for themselves.
I went from C's to A's and B's. AVID could push me to do my best and always give my 100%, completing my work on time, doing my homework.
You don't have to have straight A's either.
AVID is for the student who is in the middle, who needs a little bit of help and support that can make them become who they really want to be.
TRS really helped me because if I don't understand in class, I can come to AVID with the question I don't understand and my peers will help me.
Kids bring questions from their core classes, which are math, science, and humanities, and they bring those to class and we help each other overcome those struggles and get to a place where things that we're struggling with in our class are become easier for us.
But at AVID, you're a family. Everybody helps you and you're not by yourself.
If you are determined to reach your goals and you will reach them no matter what, but you need a little bit of help with organization, with study skills, AVID is a great place for you.
Join. They will help you and they will change your mentality
AVID, they see the potential. Like they see you and they're like, this kid, we're gonna change that. I actually put thought into my words and I actually speak now. And it's great.
All right. So hopefully that gave you all an idea of kind of what the target audience for AVID. AVID is very, very community based. And part of that piece that, or part of, sorry, y'all, I'm sleepy and I've had a lot of coffee. Part of what's different about AVID for Flex in particular is that unlike, some of your classes, you can not come to all the Zooms or you can watch the recordings. With AVID, the attendance is going to be pretty strict, that you do attend those Zooms because we have to be able to build that community and that trust to do the work of AVID. Oh, that always happens. Okay, this video I'm not going to play today. It's about 10 minutes long, but this is Ms. Wilson, and she is our AVID coordinator at Flex. And so this slide deck will be posted in the 5th grade module in Canvas, and you can watch this here where she talks more about AVID specifically at Flex. And it's going to play. There we go. Okay. So AVID is this elective that's very relationship focused. You're working on building school skills for after high school and the skills that will help you all the way through school as well. So you're focusing on writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading to learn. And that might sound funny, but there are some special skills that go into reading so that you can retain information. So who is the best candidate for AVID? Who are we kind of hoping to get into the AVID program? We want a student that is motivated and determined, good citizenship. Hopefully you've got pretty solid attendance. But maybe you're a first generation college student. Maybe nobody in your family has gone to college yet. And that's a whole thing, right? Applying to college and get all those skills that get you there. That's a bunch of information that I think you can take for granted if your family has it, but if they don't, it can feel really confusing. And like, I want to do these things, but how do I do it? What are the steps, right? And that AVID is there to kind of fill in that gap. And I'll talk a little bit more once we get through the slides. So AVID is a program that you apply to, like I mentioned, and I'll show you the application in just a minute. If accepted, it will take a place of one of your elective classes in middle school if you aren't at Flex. If you are at Flex, it takes the place of something called FoxDen, which we won't jump into right now. If you're unsure what school you will attend to next year, but you want to apply for AVID, that's great. You will just fill out the application and list Flex as your school. And if you end up at Cedar Park or another middle school, that AVID application will go with you. So you could still do AVID in a building. Okay. And then I don't know if I will, oh no, it worked. Okay. So here is the AVID application. I'm not going to go through all of the pages, but one important part I wanted to highlight, you need a recommendation for AVID, okay? So there's directions here, but you'll basically copy and paste this link and you can send it to me. And Miss Laws and I might work on them together or share them, but just so I can keep track of who's applying and who's turned in recommendations, please send this to me through email or Canvas inbox, this link. So I can fill out your recommendation if you're applying to AVID. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I know I just threw a ton of information at you.
So that application is for all middle schools in Beaverton, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So AVID, that AVID application kind of follows you throughout the district because all the schools have AVID. So if you apply and you end up in a building, that's totally fine. You can do AVID there. Evie?
Where can I find this application? But the one for all the classes.
The one for Flex, like specifically? Not the AVID one. That is going to be sent out this afternoon through Parent Square. So your parents should get it through Parent Square.
Okay.
And later it might end up posted in Canvas. I can let Miss Laws know if that happens, but really we want parents to be a part of it too, the deciding of electives and things. So it'll go to parents first. All right. I feel like AVID is kind of an abstract thing, and so it's hard for me to talk about sometimes or describe in a way that will cover what's important to you all. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand or put them in the chat. I would love to explain a bit better.
I think personally, guys, knowing you the way I do this year, I think those of you who enjoy working with other students on the lessons, who find that additional peer support to be helpful, might want to apply. You might think you already have that set up for yourself, but you never know what's going to happen with your peer groups. And this is kind of like having an instant peer group that's kind of set up for you. So you don't have to do that extra work of trying to set that up and set up the Zooms and everything.
They teach you a lot of like critical thinking skills, note-taking skills, and they have space and time to help support you with your other classes. So like the students mentioned in that video, there might be something you don't understand from math or science, and maybe there wasn't time in that class period to ask for help, or you're more comfortable with your AVID community. And so you would go and ask your question in AVID and get help there.
I think they also teach like school success skills. A kid who struggled with time management this year, getting assignments turned in on time. You know how successful you've been with staying organized on your own. Most of you are doing this independently. If you could use some help, this is a great program.
Yep. And especially like I like to share with folks, I was a first generation college student. So for my family, it was really important that I go to college. And I heard that messaging kind of my whole life, but no one in my family knew how to help me get there. Like they didn't have those built-in skills to kind of teach me. And so I had teachers and school counselors throughout school that helped me kind of learn those skills. We didn't have AVID at that time, but that's exactly the gap that AVID is trying to kind of fill in if you're in that spot.
Does anybody have an older sibling who's done AVID? Yeah, Megan, do you want to talk about it at all? Is your sibling?
I don't know actually for sure. I think one of them did, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. Okay. Amoy, your brothers haven't done it? You guys are the ones with teenage siblings. All right.
Megan asked how many electives will we have? So that kind of depends on which school you're at. At Flex, we have a smaller staff. And so we have fewer electives. But at Flex, you would have one per semester. So for half the year, you would have one class, like maybe art. And then for the second half of the year, you would have technology. So one period a day. If you take AVID at Flex, then you'll have AVID one period and then your art, technology, media, other elective as well. In a building, I think you have 2 electives. All right. Any other questions? Well, for anybody who's here or folks that see this video, please reach out to me. If you have questions, if you want to talk about next year one-on-one, if you're feeling nervous, any of that, I'm your person. Please reach out. You can send me a message in Canvas. Your parents can email me, or you can just tell Miss Laws, hey, I want to talk to Miss Clarke, and she can let me know.
Okay, and that's all we have today, except for one thing, is that the Untitled Reading Group read Mr. Lemoncello's Library, the book, a week or 2 ago. And we've been meaning to set up a time to watch that movie on Netflix. And so today at 2:30, anybody who wants to can join us for Mr. Lemoncello's Library. We're going to watch the movie together. Okay, bring your popcorn, your comfy jammies, and
At what time?
2:30 at the normal time at the end of our classes, when normally I do the book club with that group. We're going to watch Mr. Lemoncello's library. Okay.
I've seen Mr. Lemoncello's library and I love it.
Oh, good.
Are we doing book clubs?
We're going to do book club, but today's book club, Amadi, will be watching the movie, Mr. Lemoncello's library.
Okay.
You might actually like this one. Oh, we forgot to thank Miss Clarke before she left, but anyway. Okay, guys, that's it for today or for this morning. Be sure to